One of my favourite but most overlooked features with the Ricoh GR series is the macro function. The macro function on the Ricoh GR2 was one of my most used features, particularly for thumbnails and for obscure close-up pictures of different things. On the GR3, it's improved to 6 centimeters. Now, there's not much information about this online, so I thought I'd do a video about it. So you're about to see several photographs taken with the macro function mode. Most of them will be outside of flowers and things like that, just test shots to show off what it can do. There are a couple of other photographs thrown in here, but just for the sake of it, I wanted to just get it out the way. This is the first photograph. As you can see, it's focused as close as possible at 6 centimeters. The bokeh, the out of focus, or the quality of out of focus area is very nice. It looks good. If we move on to another photograph just taken slightly over on the tree, we've got someone walking past as well as the trees in the distance. Again, showing that I quite like the taste of the bokeh here. This was around 2.8, so it's the quality of the photographs coming out of the Ricoh GR3 looks really good. Moving on to the next photograph. For this one, we're going to focus particularly on the out of focus areas. So in focus here on the left, we've got the flower itself. If we just zoom in a little bit, I think this is 60% crop. So we're just seeing what the out of focus areas look like close up. I'm going to go into 80% now. Okay, this is about as close as we get where it's just not a complete blur. So you start to see where it comes off the edge of sharpness there and moving into the out of focus area. So it works quite well as a macro feature in and of itself. Obviously, it's not perfect macro. I think that Ricoh did really well here to just take that macro function and just push it a little bit further, 10 centimeters down to 6. I think it's made a world of a difference. It opens it up and allows you to get a lot closer to image, a lot closer to subjects, take some really cool images. You play around with it a bit. It's a very simple function and probably very secondary function to a lot of people here, but I love playing around with it, and the fact that you can now focus up to 6 centimeters is fantastic indeed. So that brings me on to macro within video mode. I will actually do a video specifically about video function on the Ricoh GR3. So once you start a video on the GR3, you can then not change any of the settings. Just before you start getting into the video itself, you have a choice to keep it in normal. You can press the little button with the little picture of the flower that makes it go into macro mode. So if you push that before pressing recording, it will then automatically go into macro mode. The camera itself does the focusing. I think there may be a section where you can choose to manually focus it beforehand, but I have it set to P in my settings, so therefore the autofocus is controlled by the camera. You can see here with the box that where the box comes into focus, where the macro auto follows it, and then it comes out of focus again where I move it too close, and then it comes back into the zone of focus and it stays on it. So it works quite well, but it would only be as like for B-roll footage and for things like that. You're not going to be using this as a main feature. If you have a camera that cannot focus close up for recording video, then this is an alright alternative. It's not going to replace anything, but it will do. The very disturbing macro video of my eye was quite fun, just to show you how it tracks and keeps hold of a subject in that area. The rolling shutter, the wibbly wobbly, comes into place, unfortunately, even with the IS on. But overall, it works as it's meant to. It stays in focus if you're in that zone of focus for the macro function, but it's not anything to write home about in video mode. Anyway, that's a very basic video around the macro function on the Ricoh GR3. I've been slyelessar. Have a good one.